has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, so you can see Foster's Lager's corduroy beach pants right there. He's walking away. And that was them. And they have gotten bad reviews from the locals and from Luke Iamilhala because it's like 100% humidity here. And so if you wear corduroy pants and it feels like 105 degrees outside, you have swung and missed. I am wearing jeans underneath my. There he goes again with his corduroy pants. He just walked by me. And then I'm wearing jeans, which are also a epic fail in humid weather. I will walk back to the hotel on Bourbon Street from here, and I will be soaking wet by the time I get there. Soaking wet. Like literally, as I said, like I'm literally in the shower with clothes on. I mean, that's how bad it is, Cover High. I wanted to say, get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android in the Play Store. You're going to love it. It's free. I turned my Uber driver onto it today. I told him how to download the app and watch SportsGrid on his phone while he's driving and cause car wrecks. What I really told him was click listen. And you can get the Sirius broadcast and listen on the radio right on your phone app. So I thought that he would be styling right there. Let's give it back to Mike as we set up with Marcus Allen coming in here. All right, Mike, take it away, buddy.
Well, that's the thing. And the app, you have to get it. The SportsGrid app is absolutely outstanding. I'm glad that you've been showing people down there on Bourbon Street where to get it. And now everybody can get in the mix. As you get ready, Scotty's going to have Marcus Allen from down in New Orleans in a moment. And I have been waiting on this hole-in-one. We just missed one on 16 at the Waste Management. We were very close to finally nailing this hole-in-one. Now, we do have 3 more days to get it, but I'm greedy. I want it on the first day. I want us to be able to go there. So hopefully we got a few more groups that are going to pass through on the 16th hole, and we can cash that plus 265 for a hole-in-one on the 16th hole. That is what we are going to mess with here today. As the crowd, it's actually, they must be tired because there's not as much rowdiness this late in the day down there. We'll go back to Scotty now in New Orleans at the Super Bowl.
All right, so it's very exciting to have the legendary Hall of Famer, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion Marcus Allen with us on Coast to Coast. It's great to see you, Marcus Allen. I immediately am excited because you're talking about brain health and well-being. I need better brain health and well-being after eating here for 5 days and walking miles and miles here at my age from here to the hotel on Bourbon Street, back and forth walking. My feet are killing me. I was just talking about going to get a foot massage after the show today. I also need an ear massage from the headsets that I've been wearing that have dug into my skull. So I need brain health. I've already mentioned it on the show today, and my overall well-being is not well. So there's several things that you brought to the table here today that are going to help and aid me in the future, which is tomorrow.
Different kind of brain health, really from concussions and
yes, of course,
things of that nature and stuff. And I'm teamed up with Emory.
Great school.
College. Thank you. Yes, they're a leader in sports science, sports medicine.
Right.
They're just doing a fantastic job and trying to find solutions that really they've determined inflammation is really sort of the one of the negative factors. And
it's awful.
Reduce, inflammation. They're trying to reduce that on a short-term basis and a long-term basis.
A lot of Steelers, I covered the Steelers for years and traveled with them, and I'm a season ticket holder. We lost a lot of them. to CTE. My sister-in-law has advanced dementia, which is also a very scary thing. I've seen her. She was a nuclear physicist, and now she's brain dead. And actually, I kid you not, and it's very sad and depressing, but it's the reality. You have to discuss it. Right. Seeing someone go from being brilliant to not knowing who you are, not knowing anyone, not being able to eat, swallow, chew, fed through a tube. It's crazy what that dementia and Alzheimer's and CTE has done to people. It's scary.
Well, it's troubling to me sometimes to see teammates.
Of course.
That you notice
slipping
a little bit, yeah. So that's why it's so important to me to bring awareness to what we're trying to accomplish here, find solutions that reduce. They actually have studies out have clinical trials right now that are promising that would help reduce the inflammation. That is one of the reasons that they're so negatively impacted. Inflammation is really the key.
So let me ask you, the NFL talked this year, just this week, Adele talked about the concussions were down 17%. And that's something that they're excited about, that they've reduced the number of concussions. Yeah. But I remember a time when the league was more grateful that they got out of a lawsuit that was going to be worth $10 billion to the players that had CTE when they only had to give them $700 million. The NHL doesn't even acknowledge anything such as a brain injury or a concussion or CTE. Bettman won't even talk about it because he doesn't want to get sued. What is it? I'm going to be frank with you. What is it like for them to have you or anyone else walking around here talking about CT? It's like a dirty word to them, isn't it? They don't want to talk about it.
Well, I'm certainly not going to relitigate what transpired.
Fair enough.
But
you know what I'm talking about.
Of course. I just I know that they're headed in the right direction. They're taking steps and they're taking it seriously. I mean, if we were to go back. By the very definition of the evolution of the helmet,
right?
They knew something obviously was wrong at the time,
right?
So they went from leather helmets to, I don't know, suspension
to where it is now.
Suspension to, I think I had square cushions in the helmet. I think when I played,
right?
I don't know what they have now. So they're certainly headed in the right direction.
Did you have a bunch of concussions?
I had two. I had two concussions, one in college and one in.
That's pretty good so USC and one with the Raiders.
Yeah. So since I was 10 years old.
And that's amazing.
Until I was 37. So yes, that's pretty.
That's amazing with how many hits you took.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I got to tell you, so I saw you walk up here, and you're
Other than my back.
you have a bad back, but you walked up here you look to me like very normal. I saw others. I know several guys. I've been doing this 40 years.
Yeah.
I saw guys today walking through here can't even walk. They're limping so bad they look like they have broken legs.
Oh, yeah, I'm blessed.
The injuries you guys get are crazy.
In a lot of regards, playing 16 years at the running back position
is insanity.
And to not have a knee surgery or hip or anything of that.
How is that possible?
It's possible, but you're lucky and blessed. That's basically it.
So you got me.
The game certainly takes a physical toll on you.
So you got me by 4 years, okay? And I still play basketball 6 days a week. I can't believe that you just told me that you got out of that league without having surgeries on your knees and stuff. That is crazy.
Yes.
Because I've had 14 surgeries. I had open heart surgery.
Wow.
And I'm 4 years younger than you. But listen, I think it's great what you're doing for players and your colleagues, your peers, and with Emory, great school in Atlanta. Nice job. Thank you for coming on.
This does not only apply just to athletes, though. Soldiers, just the general public. Anybody.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Is it just a matter of his contract, his age? I mean, usually things like this get fixed pretty quickly, but this one is not fixed, and now it's just super uncomfortable.
The opportunity or the idea of getting another team involved adds more complication to the situation, and it doesn't seem like a resolution is anywhere in sight, but the more suspensions come in, the more it's clear that the saga is over, or his time there is over.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back at the Super Bowl Radio Row in New Orleans at the Convention Center off the French Quarter. Carver High's in New York. I'm in New Orleans with Mafia. Luke also back in Jersey running the show. Great job by everybody all week as we've done continuing coverage of Super Bowl 59 from Bourbon Street in this great bayou, otherwise known as Cajun country down here, with all their alligator bites and everything else. I mean, it is something else, the food down here at Carver High.
You've got me on another. Did you have the alligator bites?
I have not. No, I haven't, to be honest. And I think it's about time that I got involved in that as well, maybe in an appetizer fashion.
Yeah, I would get them at some point. They're good. You just got to get a little fried gator before you get out of there. It's outstanding.
I'll do it.
So make sure you do that. All right, I have a couple of other things that we will sift through here before we move on. The NFL will play a regular season game in Australia in 2026. The Rams will be a part of the game. I mean, honestly, when does it end? Australia now? Australia?
I have been invited to Australia, Carver High. I actually have been invited. Yes, I've been invited to go to Melbourne, Australia, not for the Open, but for friends of ours that moved there several years ago have invited us to come down under to Melbourne. Now, that is an very long, arduous
trip. That's a big trip.
That is no joke.
Trip.
That is
that's
like a 19-hour flight, something like that. It's no joke. And I'm not sure I have it in me, but I do have the open invitation I have received of recent note to go to Melbourne. My wife said, "Do you want to go to Melbourne, Australia?" And I said, let's put that on the back burner for now. I'm not certain that I'm able to, sit in one place for 19 hours. I can barely get through this show. I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm standing, I'm sitting. And then having to walk back to the Bourbon Street area from here is like the longest yard.
Well, I think it's something
there is
that
one good
if you
note,
have the
though.
opportunity to do it once in your life, that you should probably do.
I think I'd like to go to Australia. I just don't know how I'd ever make it. Now, the furthest trip I ever did in my life, I guess 2 of them was Belgrade in the former Yugoslavia. I went to Belgrade, and then I flew to Athens. That was long. And then the longest one I remember was going to down to Tahiti. I went to Papeete, Raiatea, Moorea, and the French Polynesian Islands. And that was a 12-hour flight from Los Angeles. And I thought I was going to kill myself on that flight. It was so long. But I did it. I made it. And once I got there, it was cool because as you know, I lived on an 80-foot yacht for a month out on the turquoise waters of the South Pacific. It was crazy. But I've never been to Australia. I think it would be cool. So there's potential for it. You never know. Maybe I will go. But I think there's higher potential for me to have alligator bites.
That's, at least at this moment in time, definitely a higher rate. That's like a minus 250 for the alligator bites at this point.
So Paige VanZant is going to be here allegedly soon. I don't like to pre-introduce people anymore at these events because people don't show up. But what are the odds? Do you have an over-under on the potential for her to run off with me and have an affair tonight?
If you tell her that you're going to GW Fins, there's a possibility because maybe she'll want to go eat there. So I guess if you drop in that's where you're dining later, there's a chance that she might go with you.
So you think I should take the 2 hot fighters out to dinner?
To GW Fins, yes.
I think Willie's into it. I heard him. He's like, go for it, Ferrall. I heard him.
He's into it. He's absolutely into it today. The NFLPA says that no one wants to play an 18-game schedule. No one wants to play one.
I don't want to watch it.
He's wrong about that. Roger Goodell wants to play one. The NFL, all the suits at Park Avenue want to play one. I know his players don't want to play one, but those people do.
Yeah, they want it for money reasons, and I'll tell you what, the 17th game in the NFL is already a unmitigated disaster, and no one plays in the game. It's the worst thing that has ever happened to the NFL, and now they're going to make it even worse.
That is precisely what they're going to do. Just more. When does it end? More on top of more on top of more.
How about 20 games?
More on top of more. Yeah, 20, 22, 25. Why not?
25.
Yeah, get the baseball at this point.
Why
and
not?
Finally, my last NFL thing I'll give you today. They are, I'm sure you said before, everyone's talking about it in the room today. NFL awards will be announced tonight at some shindig that they're going to have. And they will also announce this year's Hall of Fame inductees. As
Eli.
there's now, people think Eli, and then I've seen some people say that they're going to make Eli wait, and he won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That is what some people have tried to. And by the way, it's not that these people can change anything. They did this voting like weeks ago. Like, this has already been in the bag.
Are these the people that know? These are the people that know.
People that think they know now say, well, what do you mean? He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Whether you like it or not, he's going to be there. So what's the difference if it's this year, next year? It doesn't make a difference. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Do you think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because he beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl?
That would be the only reason that he's going to be in it. I'll tell you that. That's the only reason why he's going to be in, because, he's a 500 quarterback in the regular season. He's getting in for winning those 2 Super Bowls. That is the whole deal.
You're right.
That's it. So God bless him.
Would they have put his brother in if he hadn't won the Super Bowl?
Yes, because Peyton had 3 or 4 MVPs. A lot of records, Peyton an all-time regular season quarterback that solidified by winning a couple of Super Bowls. Eli's claim is those Super Bowls and who he beat. That's what it's all about for him.
And Peyton was way better than his brother.
Yes.
It's
finally here. The big game is just days away, and SportsGrid is live from New Orleans all week long, bringing you the latest news, insights, and analysis from the biggest names in the game. And on game day, we've got you covered all day long with expert picks, live odds, and everything you need to make the most out of the biggest game of the year. Don't miss a second, and it's all happening only on SportsGrid.
Best dressed guy, let me tell you, next to me in terms of Radio Row. I want to get your thoughts quickly on the game, Philly and KC. How do you see it playing out?
You know, obviously you got Patrick Mahomes, who just finds a way to win. Then you got on the other side of the table an alien and, Barkley. I mean, he's had an incredible year.
Right.
I think whoever has the balls last is going to win the football game.
Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back in New Orleans, but being a Pirate fan my whole life is like it's like being in federal prison. But I have always hated the Phillies my whole life. Jack Schmidt, I was there the day he hit his 500th home run at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, so even he haunted me. Jayson Werth is here. I never liked your team, but I like you, and I like you because of two reasons. One, you own horses that race for money. Two, you were at the Belmont Stakes and had a massive cocktail rocking in your hand when you were doing interviews. My buddy was in the Belmont Stakes, a guy on my basketball team. He owned Jovia. Do you remember that horse? Jovia finished second in the Belmont, and Jovia had never run a race in its life and got into the Belmont Stakes because they needed horses in the race. The goddamn horse finished second, and he made a fortune off of it. It paid big. And then he and his brother have owned horses ever since. So I've been a big fan of his and a big fan of horse racing. I've been to the Belmont Stakes a million times. I've been to the Kentucky Derby a million times. I've been to the Preakness. I've been to all of them. You name it. The Breeders' Cup, I've done all of them.
Breeders' Cup's cool.
It's so much more fun than baseball. It's not even funny. Now, I know you had a great career in baseball,
Sure.
but I know you're having way more fun with the horses.
Yeah, a lot more. And I just would point out my grandfather, Ducky Schofield, was on the 60 Pirates, so we do have...
Oh, so I like you even more now.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Schofield on the 60 Pirates with Mazeroski.
Sure.
And Game 7, they beat the Yankees at Forbes Field on his ninth-inning homer. I have a picture in my studio at home autographed from Mazeroski, and I love it more than my wife and children.
Yeah, if you they still, it's one of the most played sports clips ever, the home run, right? And
right.
When he comes around home plate, you can see number 11 jumping around the pile. That's my grandpa.
That is awesome,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, he filled in for Dick Groat in August and September down the stretch when Groat got hurt, and he hit like 300 for him down the stretch, and
that's great that you remember all these guys and their names and everything.
Yeah.
Were you a historian of the game when you played it?
You know, I'm a third-generation big leaguer, so I spent a lot of time with my grandpa. He was for sure a historian. So I've been around the game a lot my whole life. Just by default, I guess you could call me a historian.
But when did you, were you already dabbling in ponies when you were in the league, or did you wait till it was over?
No, I didn't get into it till after. I moved to Florida and started playing golf with some guys. They own some Florida breds. And
They raced to where? Gulfstream?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
So I was like, this looks like fun. Let me grab get me in or whatever. So I got a piece of a horse and like, let's go to the race, when it's running. So we go up there. I have no idea what's going on. And it was like a Tuesday afternoon, like, 2 o'clock. It was like the third race at Tampa.
Right.
Low level claiming race, literally like the bottom of horse racing.
Right.
And I was just like, well, this is amazing. I get to go into the paddock and pet the horse, and
right.
And like they yell riders up and meet the little jockey, and then the guy helps them up onto the horse. I'm like, wow, look at this, and then all of a sudden I'm like, can I swear? Can I cuss?
No. But
like,
you just say F, bomb.
I'm like, man, I'm like nervous.
Right.
Like, why am I nervous? The horses go on the track, they get loose, and I'm like, what? I don't get nervous. What's going on? And then bang, the gates open, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm back on the field. I felt like I was back
playing baseball
again
in a World Series.
Well, maybe not for that race, but like as the races.
You were getting your rocks off.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. So that was kind of like the first time I was like, oh, this is cool. I got to get into this. So then I started buying more horses, mostly fillies, and then the first colt that I got into was Dorna. And
then Dornock took you to heaven.
Yes.
I mean, that is crazy. Now you got a podcast about horse racing. Who do you do that with?
Me and my old teammate, Sean Kelly. He played the big leagues for 10 years. He's my co-host. We started Icon Racing partnership, so we're bringing people in to own the horses. So my biggest takeaway from horses was like, you can go bet the horses. You go to the track and bet them, but it's not the same as owning. Like when you own the horse, you wake up in the morning, you like, how is he? You call the trainer, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Like you check
and you fall in love with them.
You fall in love with these things. They become like family members.
They're like dogs, but they're bigger. Like you fall in love with animals, but a horse is it's insane.
There's some sort of connection with these guys. It's like I tell people, it's like Avatar, right? When they jump on them, they put their hair in there,
right.
And there's this connection with them, and they become part of your life. Even the ones that aren't any good,
Well, listen, you're awesome. I thought what you did at the Breeders' Cup was cool. I thought it was cool how you partied. I thought it was cool the hat you wore, the outfit you wore. Now you've made a splash into horse racing. That's badass. Yep. Screw the Phillies, but you had a great baseball career. I'm glad your grandpa was on the Pirates. It's great to meet you, dude.
Go Birds.
My man.
And check us out, Icon Racing, LFG on all our socials.
It's finally here. The big game is just days away, and SportsGrid is live from New Orleans all week long, bringing you the latest news, insights, and analysis from the biggest names in the game. And on game day, we've got you covered all day long, with expert picks, live odds, and everything you need to make the most out of the biggest game of the year. Don't miss a second, and it's all happening only on SportsGrid.
Best dressed guy, let me tell you, next to me in terms of Radio Row. I want to get your thoughts quickly on the game, Philly and KC. How do you see it playing out?
Obviously you got Patrick Mahomes, who just finds a way to win. Then you got on the other side of the table an alien, and Barkley. I mean, he's had an incredible year.
Right.
I think whoever has the balls last is going to win the football game.
Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall Coast to Coast, here on a Thursday. Of course, Scotty's down in New Orleans. Super Bowl 59 coming up this week. He's got a couple great guests coming in. Still more to do for the rest of this hour. And we will get you back to him momentarily. Scheffler, who is playing awful out at the Waste Management, up until he had a miserable front nine, and then he just holed out from the sand, which I believe was for an eagle. Was that on a fiver? So was it on 10 that he did that? On 10. So 110 out, he holds out to get himself back in the mix. So nice job by him. I think that Scotty is ready. We'll head back to New Orleans now.
All right, so there's guys holing out at the Bourbon Street Open in Scottsdale. I always love when people have great shots in golf. Look who it is. Paige VanZant is here. Did I get it right? I want to get your friend's name right. You know what's crazy? Hannah Goldie, did I get it right? I didn't want to screw it up.
You got it right.
I have a couple things going on here. One, I don't have my glasses on. I can't see anything.
All right.
But I don't want to wear them because I have nails in my head. These earphones and these earplugs and these wires. You see this wire? I'm like a horse. I have a tail.
You're strapped down.
I have a giant thing going into my arse right now. It's on the seat. It's that I have pain.
Are you allowed to say that on
It's the same thing as you putting someone on the ground and pummeling their face where they're in a position of inescapability, can't get out of it, have to sit there and take it, and you've got them in an arm bar, and then pull them back and snap them like a chicken wing and then beat their face.
Wow.
That's what I'm going on here in my garage door.
Okay, got it.
Right now.
You could just tap out.
But I'm not a quitter.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. That was a test.
I'm not a quitter. So you guys are at the Super Bowl and you're having a blast. What has been the reaction, Paige, to you walking around this room? Because everyone knows you from fighting, and now you're here at the Super Bowl festivities. Is it shock and awe when they see the fighter chicks at the football party?
I think there's a few wait, hold on a second. What are they doing? But no, a lot of familiar faces, honestly, in the UFC, the media world.
Right.
It's a lot of the same media. So I've been able to connect with old friends. I saw Doug Flutie, who I was on Dancing with the Stars with, and give him a hug. So it's been incredible. We're here literally just for, honestly, Media Row. We get back to Florida to train.
Right. Your career has been insane.
Thank you.
I mean, you have done everything, and now you're doing the Global Fight League. How's that going for you?
It's incredible. So it's just a newly founded organization. Their first card will be the end of April. And they're doing something, or especially the reason they wanted us here, is they're going to be more like the NFL. It's going to be a season where you get to be behind a team. You get to be behind athletes.
Are you guys on the same team, Hannah?
We're teammates. Team Miami, Team 305.
You're beautiful women. I don't understand how you can maintain your beauty when you get punched in the face all day.
You got to move your head.
Well, I know you're quick. I know you duck and shock and awe, and you jab and miss and weave and duck and do all that. But I mean, honestly, don't bullshack me. You get punched in the face for a living. And then you two, look at you, you're like movie stars. How do you maintain your looks? Because, look, I'm an old man. I could be your dad. I'm as pretty as a girl.
Older than my
I
dad,
have to maintain. I am older than your dad. How do I maintain this beauty? I avoid being punched.
There's a statistic.
There's no Botox?
No Botox.
Okay. Wow.
None.
Scars on your face, you're arguably more attractive. People who have scars on their face are considered more attractive. So
I have scars.
I need to get chicks.
I had open heart surgery on November 17th of 2023. I have giant scars across my chest. It's not like I can go out to dinner and start showing people my scars.
Why not?
Well, maybe I should. So today I was soaking wet after doing a show, so I went outside and I took my shirt off.
Why were you soaking
Because
wet?
I was screaming and yelling for an hour straight, and I was sweating.
It was sweat.
So then I went outside, and I took my sport coat off and my shirt, and I just laid out in the sun, and I waved my shirt in the air for like 30 minutes while I got raised, and it dried, and I put it back on and came in here and did TV.
Honestly, that's shocking because it is so humid.
But when it is humid. So when I was out there were people looking at my scars, like I would be looking at you hot chicks right now. Same thing. Checking you out, your goods and everything. They were looking at me because I had scars. I'm out there, some old man with a big beer gut, but I play basketball every day of my life, so I'm in great shape for a 60-year-old. I play ball 6 days a week, but I don't get punched in the face. I have been punched in the face in the park, in the hood. by a brother one day. I hit a 3, and I said something very naughty to him when I dropped it, like.
So you deserved it.
Suck my and I nailed a 3 to win the game, and he wasn't having my D, and he punched me right in the mouth, 100 miles an hour. I was like, whoa!
Well, that's bare knuckle too. Which
bare knuckle.
Paige knows more about than I.
So my producer behind the wall, his name's the Wizard of Oz. He is behind you right now, Paige.
Yep.
He does the combat show on SportsGrid, our network. Oh. He does all the fight shows, and then I did 2 years at the UFC.
Okay.
And then I did. I've done Bellator fights.
Okay.
And I've actually done a lot of the fights.
Around.
I've been doing it. Listen, like I said, I've been doing this 40 years. I've done everything. I do the PBC pay-per-view boxing fights, every fight card that matters in Vegas. So I've been doing that for 35 years. So I've actually seen you fight live in MMA. I've been ringside to see you fight. I've never seen you fight yet, but I'm going to see you fight in this global league, right?
You're going to see it in May.
And where is the fight? Is it in Florida?
The first card is in Los Angeles, but they're going to be traveling all over the world. So
all over the world.
All over the world.
So are you making good money?
Oh, absolutely.
We're being
and
taken
beyond
care
that, they're
of.
taking care of the athletes. We get a 50% revenue share, which is really unheard of in the MMA.
And who are these people with all this money?
That's a good question. It's the GFL.
So, but I mean, it has to be a collaboration of people with money. So, like,
yeah,
I think
because there's been a lot of fight leagues that have come and gone, like passing gas. Do you believe in them for the long term?
Oh, I believe in them. They've definitely proven themselves to me already, and I have a very, very good team behind me that does fact checking and from everything that they've fact.
So are you getting? You like doing the TV shows and filming TV shows like you did dancing? I've done a million shows in my career. I was on MTV and everything else. I filmed movies. I thought it was so much fun filming TV shows, way more than, like, I do TV every day for a living.
You seem like you like TV.
But I actually liked filming movies better. And, like, the craft services where they're cooking filet mignon and omelets for you all day whenever you want. You got your
where's
own.
the filet here?
They don't have anything here. This place sucks.
What's going on?
Like, you have your own trailer. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't it cool?
Yeah.
Do you like it better than being punched?
I like movies. Well, no, I like movies better than TV. I feel like
right, movies are way better than TV.
Movies are better than TV, but no.
Hannah, are you doing any TV shows?
I have not done any.
But I think you should.
I would love to.
I think once you guys take over the Global League, you should start doing more TV shows together. And then once you make the real big money doing TV and making movies, then you won't have to be punched in the face anymore.
From the movies I've been in, GFL's taking care of us far better than movies.
Now listen, you can't possibly. How long
are you trying to convince us to change our career path here? What's going on?
At some point, I'm worried about you being punched in the face and in your brain. I want you to be making movies and make tons of money and be famous that way. You're great fighters, but you can't do it forever. Like all these fighters get older.
Doing it while we can.
Well, you're doing it while you can, which is awesome. Where did you start fighting?
Orlando is where I am at now, and that's really where I started my training. And I've been there for the last 10 years, and that's my home.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Oregon.
Oh, in Oregon. Where in Oregon?
The Pacific Northwest. So
yeah, I know it. I've been to Eugene to games.
Near Eugene.
I like it there. They have good weed there. Are we on the air? Can you talk about the weed? No, that's a no. They have great weed in Oregon.
I've heard.
They really do. I just wanted to say that just for the sake of the people there and the civilians. So who are you fighting in your first fight? Do you know?
Oh, we haven't been told yet.
Oh, what is it, like a surprise?
No, I mean we're still so far out. So typically. Fight camps are 6 to 8 weeks. So as the date approaches, I mean, we just found out that
the draft just happened. We just got picked to our team, so information will be unfolding.
Woodley's in it. Holly Holm, I know her. I know Frank Mir. I know Chris Weidman. He just retired. I'm really good friends with Uriah. I call him Heat Faber and Shogun.
You seem like you'd be
Junior. I know every single one of these fighters in this league. That is fantastic. Now I know both of you. Thanks for coming on Coast to Coast.
Best.
Awesome.
It's finally here. The big game is just days away, and SportsGrid is live from New Orleans all week long, bringing you the latest news, insights, and analysis from the biggest names in the game. And on game day, we've got you covered all day long. with expert picks, live odds, and everything you need to make the most out of the biggest game of the year. Don't miss a second, and it's all happening only on SportsGrid.
Best dressed guy, let me tell you, next to me in terms of Radio Row. I want to get your thoughts quickly on the game, Philly and KC. How do you see it playing out?
You know, obviously you got Patrick Mahomes, who just finds a way to win. Then you got on the other side of the table an alien, and Barkley. I mean, he's had an incredible year.
Right.
I think whoever has the balls last is going to win the football game.
Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. I was scared to death of those women. The one, as you know, the famous one. Let's just get real here. No, I didn't know who Hannah was. I've never heard of her, but at least everyone knows who Paige VanZant is, right? And now Mafia is telling me that she made tons of money off of OnlyFans. She's made tons of money off of OnlyFans.
We will get Scotty back in a moment as they have to get him back up. And yes, Paige was there with you. And you need to finish this when you come back up because I can't wait to hear the rest of this story as the two of them just left. And then after that, I will tell you about the Mike Woodson news that I have coming your way as well. So we have several things that we are going to have to get to before we get done here. So we will go back to New Orleans with Scotty in a moment and let him finish that story about Paige and was just there down there with them. All right, so the Woodson situation is they are in discussions about the coach's wishes to step away at the end of the 24-25 season. He's expected to coach the rest of this year, but unlikely to return next year for Mike Woodson. So Scotty will be very happy about that because, as you know, he has had enough of Mike down there in Bloomington with the Hoosiers, and it is time to move on and do other things and get other opportunities in. So Mike Woodson looks like this will be the why finish out the year, though? Why don't you just chop him now? What exactly are you waiting for? Why do we have to wait? Might as well unload and let him go at this point. A few other things, and we do have some games tonight in College Rack that we are going to get to as well. A few games from last night of significance that we will get to first before we do that. Number one, last night, Scotty was on Oregon, I should say, with that 5.5. They lost by 4 in Ann Arbor to the Wolverines, 80-76 with that. Now, I think I have him back. Now,
all right.
Before I get to Woodson, because I started talking about the Woodson story, you have to finish because you got cut off in the middle of talking about this Paige VanZant story with the Olympics. Right. So please, you have to finish that before we can move on to anything else.
So Mafia tells me that so she made all kinds of money doing Dancing with the Stars and finishing second on that show, right? So now she's done OnlyFans, which, as you know, is basically porno. And she has made a fortune, an absolute fortune, doing OnlyFans. So she does it, apparently, I'm going to see if I get this right. I think she does it with her husband, which, Foster's Lager's like, yeah, she's married, she's got a huge rock, all this other stuff. But all I know is she does the OnlyFans by herself, which is like, it's just basically sex on a stick. And then she has a podcast with her husband, who's a MMA fighter as well, this guy Vanderford, who she's married to. And, I mean, she has fought so many levels. She's gone from the UFC, bottom line, down to this. Like this whole new fight league she's talking about that nobody's ever heard of. Let's just get real here. It's brand new, and it's like a startup, and they all say they're going to last forever, and they're going to beat the UFC and everything else. The bottom line is that she's so far gone from the UFC, it's not even funny. She'll never fight there again as long as she lives. And this league probably doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be mean, but where she's really making her, cutting her teeth and making all of her money. She's making millions on OnlyFans because she's hot, right? She's a hot chick. And I just saw her here. She doesn't really look like a chick that's been beat up a lot or been punched a million times. You'd never know. But I remember her when she was, let's just be honest, a lot she was in better shape. She was younger. She was thinner. She was just perfect, right? When she first started in the UFC, she was the hottest chick ever in the UFC. And now... Now she looks like, even though she hasn't, and I'm not being mean, she just looks older, and that looks like she's kind of had kids and stuff. You know what I mean? She looks more like she's had a few years and a few beverages and a couple of meals, but she's still good looking, and I could see how she's making tons of money on OnlyFans. The other one, and I'm not even going to be mean, but because I don't know her, but the other one couldn't even do it. Now, I think Foster's Lager was in love with her, but the other chick could not do OnlyFans. She's just not going to have that kind of volume because she wasn't in the same, let's just say, she's not in, let's say if they were in the majors, she would be playing in A-ball in the Florida State League compared to Paige, who would be playing up in the show. Fair enough, Carver High? Now, I know you want me to talk about, before I get any meaner, I want to talk about... Mike Woodson, because Mike Woodson has got to go. It's not a question of he's considering retirement. He's considering stepping down at the end of the season. He is done at Indiana. He's fired is what it is. They cannot bring Mike Woodson back because he made the NCAA tournament the first couple of years. Now they never make the NCAA tournament. Now they never win. Now they lose 6 of 7. Now they've lost 4 straight. Now they are soft as a donut. They have never been good the last 3 or 4 years with Mike Woodson. Indiana basketball has never been this bad. That I can remember in my lifetime, they have never been this bad. They have never won since Bob Knight was fired. Do not tell me that Mike Davis went to the finals and lost to Maryland in 2002. That was Bob Knight's team. Everything was Bob Knight. I have said this a million times. They've got to stop hiring candy-ass coaches and NBA coaches who are old and washed and anyone else for that matter that's soft. They got to stop with the soft. You know what? You know who's learning the hard way now about coaching is this Pope guy that everybody thought was going to be so great at Kentucky. Look at him walking up and down the sideline now. He looks like he's ready to drink Maalox. Because it doesn't take long before they turn on you down in Lexington. Indiana needs a badass coach. I keep telling you, I want Mick Cronin, somebody that yells and cusses, someone that's intense. I'm done with his candy-ass stuff and his saltwater taffy in Bloomington.
It's finally here. The big game is just days away, and SportsGrid is live from New Orleans all week long, bringing you the latest news, insights, and analysis from the biggest names in the game. And on game day, we've got you covered all day long with expert picks, live odds, and everything you need to make the most out of the biggest game of the year. Don't miss a second, and it's all happening only on SportsGrid.
Best dressed guy, let me tell you, next to me in terms of Radio Row. I want to get your thoughts quickly on the game, Philly and KC. How do you see it playing out?
You know, obviously you got Patrick Mahomes, who just finds a way to win. Then you got on the other side of the table an alien, and Barkley. I mean, he's had an incredible year.
Right.
I think whoever has the balls last is going to win the football game.
Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back here real quick for a couple of minutes with Tyler Fulgham from ESPN and ESPN Bet, and I see you on ESPN all the time. Are you loving life doing that? Coming from Columbia, Missouri, and the School of Journalism. You know, I went to Ernie Pyle at Indiana, so they say Indiana, Northwestern, Missouri, and Syracuse are the four best broadcasting and journalism schools in the country.
That's the quartet, and there's a rivalry at ESPN because there's most of the.
They all went to Syracuse.
Yeah, it's Syracuse. It's one of those four schools.
Really?
Yeah, it's Mizzou.
Did you know IU people?
Absolutely. I worked with IU people back in Columbia. Some great. I love IU people. Shea Cornett.
I saw Shea.
Mm-hmm.
So you're from St. Louis,
Right.
and you're a big Rams and Cardinal fan.
Still a Ram fan, even though they left and Stan Kroenke can shove it. I was never rooting for the owners when, Kroenke helped Georgia Frontiere move them from L.A. to St. Louis in the first place. So I grew up watching The Greatest Show on Turf. I fell in love with the players in the jersey then. But no basketball team because we never had one. The Hawks moved well before I was born. So Blues, Cardinals, Mizzou, and Rams.
At least you got to see the Blues win a Stanley Cup, and the Cardinals are always good. And obviously, Missouri's been really good the last couple of years in football. Basketball, so. We have a little bit in common. I see that you worked in Chicago. So I worked in Chicago a couple times. I worked at Sports Channel. They syndicated my show nationally on TV. And then I worked there covering the Blackhawks and White Sox. Then I did White Sox play-by-play in A-ball. And then you worked in Peoria. So you had some Chicago ties, too, in your career.
Yeah, I started actually in Quincy, Illinois, where I started out of college. And then a few years later, I helped start a network in Chicago called 120 Sports. It rebranded a stadium, but it was a digital network, and we covered everything. Jerry Reinsdorf was the owner of the White Sox and the Bulls.
That's who I worked for. He fired me.
He cut my check, so
he fired me. So he fired me in the middle of a game. Yeah, in the press box.
Oh, damn.
I was crazy. So I did NHL play-by-play. I did baseball. I did everything. But how are you digging doing the ESPN Bet and the working in Bristol?
You're
living in the woods now, out in the middle of nowhere?
They hired me from Chicago to start the show in Vegas. So the first 3 years.
Right, you were in Vegas.
And I love that because Vegas is.
And then they moved you there to the woods?
Bristol. Moved me.
So do you go to the Mohegan and gamble?
You can go
Foxwoods?
You can go up north to Springfield, Massachusetts as well. But yeah, that's where I got.
So you still got your gambling fix?
Yeah. You can still have fun up there, but I
It ain't Vegas.
It ain't Vegas.
I lived there twice.
Yeah,
I should be dead.
I would go back and live there for sure.
Listen, it's great to meet you. Congratulations on your success.
Appreciate it.
I'm glad you went to Mizzou. I told you my uncle played fullback there.
Yeah.
My dad was roommates with Dan Devine. I went to every game Joe Montana ever played at Notre Dame because of Dan Devine. He gave my dad and I 2 tickets to every game. I even went to the 79 Cotton Bowl, right? It's great to meet you.
You too, man.
Congratulations. I'm going to throw it back to New York and Carver High here for the leftovers. I know he's got something left for me there.
We do have a few things left that we have to get to, including tonight's college basketball. So why don't we go there? There's only really a couple games of significance tonight as far as college rack goes. Maryland is visiting Ohio State. We have Western Kentucky and Ferrall State getting involved as well tonight. Loyola Marymount against Gonzaga. St. Mary's at San Fran. Washington State visiting Oregon State. That, of course, is a late night game. So how about we do it this way, because we're almost out of time. Is there anything in college rack you like tonight aside any of these games?
I mean, it's brutal. I like Ohio State to upset Maryland in Columbus. They've been playing pretty good ball. I'll be honest with you. I think Temple can win in Tampa against USF. I saw some other ones that I liked. I'm just trying to go through them really quick. St. Mary's will beat San Francisco tonight at the Dons. I like Eastern Washington at home for sure. I'll take the Gauchos on the road at Bakersfield. I like Gonzaga tonight at home. I like Oregon State tonight at home as well over Washington State.
And anything you like in hockey tonight. There's lots of games. Vegas Devils,
oh my God.
Caps Flyers, Avalanche Flames, Canucks Sharks, anything in hockey.
Yeah, I got to get the hockey really quick. I like Tampa at home. I'm going to go Jersey at the Rock. I like the Caps over Philly. I like Columbus at home. I like Carolina on the road. I like Florida on the road, Colorado on the road, Toronto on the road, and Vancouver on the road. It's Streets night in the NHL. All the road teams are going to kick ass, except the Devils at the Rock. GTD is next. We're back again tomorrow from Radio Row to wrap up the week from New Orleans at Super Bowl 59. So long, everybody.
Here, the big game is just days away, and SportsGrid is live from New Orleans all week long, bringing you the latest news, insights, and analysis from the biggest names in the game. And on game day, we've got you covered all day long, with expert picks, live odds, and everything you need to make the most out of the biggest game of the year. Don't miss a second, and it's all happening only on SportsGrid.
Even the great Nick Saban had to put his team together to do it his way. We know Coach Ryan's coming in to come run the offense, who was his right-hand man, a good friend of his at UW. And, now he's coming in. Everything is going the way we want this thing to be. Coach DeBoer is a great recruiter. He's a great father of players. He's a great leader of men. He's going to do great.
Only on SportsGrid.
It was the greatest show ever. It's funny, and you know what I like? You have balls. I mean, the stuff you do on that show, you are half crazy.
You know, I feel like a good sense of humor, and I like to show it off. And this kind of originally started where people were the hot dog eating challenge was something that I always wanted to do, and every 4th of July, and I was like, I could eat a ton of hot dogs.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.